What you saying, ladies and gents? It is your boy, BucketHatSam, and yes, we are back again today for episode 12 of the BucketHatSam Talks Ball Podcast. It's been a while. I say that it's been a week, but we are back again today. Just the one guest today. We have got the co-host, Mike. How are you doing? How's your week been?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Looking forward to Cheltenham for all the horse racing fans out there. Bet there probably isn't any, but
I was going to say
it's a big week. It's a big week. It's like Christmas come early.
I was going to say our average listeners don't bet, and we do not encourage betting to anybody
Unless
underage.
you're over 18.
Exactly. Good start. That
Thank
was a
you.
good start. But no, your team won this week, so you're going to be in a good mood. My team got a draw. So I think it's the first time since we've
Sunday
recorded.
league win as well.
Yeah.
Happy all round.
Happy all round, actually. I think it's the first time we've started recording where everything has just gone our way. The fact that I consider a draw going our way is the state of our club, well, my club. Steve Bruce Ball, we're doing well, yeah, great football.
Playoffs is on.
We've got, by the time this goes out, Fulham will be happening straight after, so let's just not talk about that. But today we've got some banging topics, got some big topics to talk about. We're going to start off straight away with Manchester United bouncing back after that horrific Manchester City result, which I think everyone's forgetting about. So I just thought I'd remind everyone straight away, drop that in there. But Ronaldo getting the hat trick that he wanted. We had a discussion off camera earlier in the week, and I thought we'd bring it to the podcast today. Yeah. And the discussion of is he finished, and that whole discussion. I say is he finished in inverted commas. Right. What is your opinions on his season so far then, and like Ronaldo as a whole, and that game specifically, like just Ronaldo at Man United?
So he's not finished. Start off straight to the point. He's not. He's still an elite player in world football. He's not at the world-class level. We saw him and Messi for years and years dominating, scoring 30, 40, maybe sometimes even more goals a season. He's not at that level anymore, but you can't expect him to be at 36 now. But I still think I questioned, when we discussed about it, I questioned Ranić for dropping him, because I'm not a fan of Ranić. I don't really know what he's brought to this United setup, or he hasn't improved them at all, really.
I think he's just made Ollie look better. Honestly, I appreciate Ollie so much more since what Ranić has done, because he's come in, and I genuinely think they are in a worse position, and that might be a bold statement, but I think they are worse.
I think possibly, yeah, you're right. And then I just thought him dropping Ronaldo was such a ridiculous decision, and people were saying, "Oh, he's sulky, like he might not work for the team in that ethic." But you're Cristiano Ronaldo; he's earned that right to do what he wants and be the man and be the leader. He's not going to be bad around the dressing room. He might be annoyed if he doesn't start, but as a whole, he's going to improve that dressing room. He's going to motivate people. He's going to do all of that sort of stuff. And I just think he's still got the quality where you can't drop him, and he proved that against Spurs, because without him, they'd have lost that game comfortably.
Yeah, I looked at his XG. His XG overachieved so much in that game. But I think we've spoken about it before, and I think we'll bring it to this today. But my problem with Ronaldo is I still don't think, in the long run, if United are going to progress and win titles, yes, Ronaldo is a serial winner and he will help them, but I do think he is holding United back in the sense of he's only going to be there for, he's 36, 37, we said. He's getting on now. He cannot stay at this level for so many years, and he's stopping others and youth players, or if they really want to progress over years to come, and Ranić supposedly gets players in, improves them, and he signed all these players at Salzburg and things like that, I don't think it will help with having somebody like Ronaldo at the top, because it doesn't give anybody else. It's like being second in command to Kane. You're never going to have the space to step up, and I worry. You saw Martial. I know Martial was a poor player, and I wasn't a fan of him, but he wasn't given a chance.
Stinky player.
Yeah, he did stink at United. His career, when you look at it overall, it wasn't great, really. I think he was there for 5 seasons. He had one season, over 20 goals. But it doesn't give the chance for anyone else to flourish, and that's my only problem. In the long run, yes, he's helping them now, but they're in a situation now where they should really be rebuilding. So why, if they're not going to win anything, realistically, no one expects them to win the Champions League, why don't they get rid of him now and start implementing these youth players and building something? Because United are still not going to win anything with Ronaldo. I think we've established that now.
I kind of agree. Like he's not going to win them the league with this team. But I don't think that's his fault. I think.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's.
It's not his fault. He would be the final piece of the puzzle. But that team around him is not ready to challenge for anything. As you can see, they're barely even ready to challenge for top 4.
I was gonna say,
but they're not a young team either.
Yeah.
So that's why you speak about a rebuild, because they're not a young team, but they're not good enough. So Ronaldo would be that like final link if you've got a very solid team around him, just to give you that final push to get those goals, that sort of thing. But like you say, they're not there yet, and I don't know if he's taking opportunities away from other players.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's my argument, and I know it's this.
Is there anyone that's that good enough that you would want to play there? Who's there? Rashford, Sancho's playing. Elanga looks good, but
there was a player, but obviously he's not playing anymore.
Correct.
But we won't discuss that. But I don't think a lot of situations. But then I don't get why Martial was left out, because now they don't have. As we've said, I know I completely am contradicting myself now in saying there isn't somebody who could replace them, but they've got no chance. Who would have joined Man United? Cavani chooses when he wants to play. I think he has been one of the worst signings as well. Sorry, we aren't discussing. Since he signed for United.
He had a good impact when he first arrived.
Whereas this season, he wanted to go. He wants to go back
home.
home.
Was it a 1 year or 2 year contract last summer just to extend?
Yeah, he signed to extend, and then he's going in this summer. And he's going again this summer. And he supposedly wants to go back home, and he wanted it. Reports were suggesting he wanted it cut short in Jan, but the club wanted him to stay, and obviously that's now why he never seems to play. He's a bit part player, and when have you seen him play?
Yeah,
he shoot and
last time I actually saw him on the
and you see, I saw Ranić in the press say that he trained for 3 days and then decided he wasn't fit enough. There is completely something wrong with this whole philosophy with the way all the players are kind of. It seems to an outsider that they're ruling the dressing room. And you see it with the likes.
It's been that way for
a long time.
A few years though now, looking at United outside in.
Yeah, they've got a lot of big egos at the club, and it's just not gelling. And we keep going back to this rebuild thing, and I feel like we talk about it every week. And they'll have one good week, and I think everyone's kidding themselves.
I wanted to obviously we're talking about Ronaldo and United as a whole, but I want to go back to this game, United Spurs. Obviously, Ronaldo masterclass hat-trick. He's won them the game, but. Again, we spoke last week about signings painting over the cracks, and that's exactly what he's done. And yes, the United fans might be thinking 3 points, we're close to top 4, all this. They went fourth with that win until we played on Sunday. But without Ronaldo doing that, and it's the first time this season he's pulled out a masterpiece like that, like a performance like that, they would have lost against Spurs. And it's a Spurs team that hasn't been great. Spurs would have beaten them comfortably if it wasn't for the genius of Ronaldo that game.
Yeah, and it did seem like the Ronaldo of old, because the goals as a whole weren't just one.
That strike from outside the box is ridiculous. Like the connection.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I've watched it in slow mo so many times back, and it gets better every time you watch it. I would question, and I know this is bad. I don't know why I'm quickly saying, but I would question Lloris for it, because
not for the long range,
but not for the long. No, but just in general, watching all the goals back, his positioning. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Lloris, but we're talking about United as we said. But then I think as well the right back position is something that really just bothers me. The amount of money they've spent, I think it's Dalot and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, around 70 million for the two of them.
But I'm not sure on this. I know Wan-Bissaka's been pretty awful this year, but if you'd have asked people 2 years ago, he'd have been one of the best fullbacks in the country.
But then,
is it
a
system?
But it's one dynamic defender. At Crystal Palace, he was never somebody who was dribbling down the line. Like you see it more so.
He had a good season when he was first at United.
Yeah,
and he was getting up and down. He might not have been like putting crosses into the box like Trent, but at least he was getting up there, supporting the play, being an option.
Yeah, I think the thing that's gone wrong for him this season is he would usually rely on his defensive side, and his defensive side has let him down this season. So. He's the opposite of Trent, I always think. If him and Trent combined, they'd be amazing. But then Trent's excelled defensively this season. I think defensively, I thought Trent this season has been really, really good. He stepped up. Yeah, he stepped up, whereas Aaron Wan-Bissaka seemed to have gone backwards. And as you said, could this be all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes in the dressing rooms? Something's going on at United, and it needs a massive change, but we seem to say it every week, and then they get.
About to say, look, the amount of times we've been on this podcast and we just talk about United because.
But then they get a win, and then everyone seems to have forgotten how.
That's why I think this game needs to be like, you need to look at it without. Like, imagine he wasn't playing. Like look at it through like logic.
I know it's a ridiculous statement to say. Like imagine if Ronaldo didn't, but imagine if he didn't, they would be in such a muddy situation because Tottenham, let's be honest, have been poor all season. And we know right now they will improve under Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte has said himself he needs longer with the club.
Yeah.
They're not in a good position. Their squad is weak. And they still conceded 2 against them.
Yeah.
That's another thing. They conceded 2. They made it difficult for themselves. If it wasn't for Ronaldo so late on, they would have come out with 1 point against that game.
And then it would be a disappointment. Whereas all of a sudden spirits are high because of the win and the atmosphere there when he scored his hat-trick, etc., etc.
I couldn't believe it was only his second hat-trick at United.
Yeah, that's mental.
His 59th hat-trick, wasn't it? And it was second at United. I don't know why that baffled me so much. I just remember him scoring so much more. But yeah, I do think we could talk about United all day, but there are some real problems.
I just want to have a quick moment of laughter for Romero laughing in Maguire's
that was hilarious. That was
fantastic. I've heard some like pundit, like proper ex-professionals slating it, go, "Oh, it's not," but just to laugh at United, it is brilliant.
But then it is quite funny that it did backfire at himself. Yeah, it makes it even funnier because in the moment I thought it was funny, and then seeing it after in the context, knowing that they lost, it's hilarious. If you haven't seen that clip, go check it out because it is hilarious. Romero's right in his face, and he's celebrating. But that's a good little moment. And we talk about Tottenham then, because we can discuss about, we've gone for United and talked about top 4, but Tottenham were in such a strong position at one point for top 4, and I think it's now everyone has established that there's absolutely no chance of Tottenham getting top 4.
I might surprise you here.
You don't tell me you're going to say it. You're going to come in randomly.
I don't think they're out of it at all.
See,
I really don't. If you look at the table now...
But have you seen their form?
Yeah, they're up and down, aren't they? But they've beat City. They could have beat United on another day if Ronaldo hadn't turned up like he did. They've got 2 games in hand on the 3 teams above them, being Wolves, West Ham and Man U. And if they win one of those, they're within 3 points of 4th. One of those games, they play Brighton next, and then it's West Ham.
In the space of 4 days, yeah. So that
I don't.
Okay, if you,
I just think
I did not expect
danger
from an Arsenal fan. I did not expect that.
You've got to think.
In my notes, I'd written Tottenham top 4 off the cards. So I personally think there's absolutely no chance, and especially watching them, they are so slow and methodical. We talked about Chelsea being slow, but at least they can pass it into Jorginho, and Jorginho can knock the ball and move it around. Whereas Tottenham have got no one like that. It's slow, it's methodical. Eric Dyer plays it into somebody
it's an over-reliance on Kane and
Son
and finding space, whether that be on the counter or if the opponent drops off.
But it's the midfield for me that's so poor. With Oliver Skip, I do not get it. And I've had a load of stick online. I still think he's so overrated. He reminds me, it's Oliver Skip is Winks 4 years ago.
A lot of people are. I'm not big on Højbjerg.
See, I think he's better than the others.
I think a lot of people could do what he does.
But I think
he's just a very average midfielder.
But then I think he stands out because he plays with players like Harry Winks and Oliver Skip. I think if I
could do what Harry Winks does. Discussing this.
We discussed it. Yeah, what's his best attribute? What was it?
Passing to the fullback.
That's his best attribute.
That's all we can think of that he does well. He's paying.
Because when you look at Harry Winks, the guy's played for England. There's quite clearly something there, but then I still can't see it, and still can't. He's a lot older than you think as well. I'm pretty sure he's like 25, 26 now.
He doesn't defend well. He's not physical.
Yeah.
He's not a goal threat. He's not a creative passer. He's not a good dribbler of the ball.
He's just a good-looking chap.
Literally all he does is keep the ball ticking. That's it.
He's got great hair. That is literally it. Well, personally, I like it. I don't know if you do, but no, there's so many problems though with Tottenham, and they again we go back to the rebuild, but supposedly are going to back Antonio Conte,
which they need to.
They sort of did in January, signing Kulusevski and players like that.
Gone and got Conte, and Conte, as we all know, is probably one of the best managers in the world. He's probably the best manager Spurs will ever have.
He's definitely above Mourinho, yeah.
So they have got to back him, but you say the bigger picture at Spurs, the issue. Personally, I think the bigger issue will always be while he's in charge of the club, Daniel Levy. And until he's not running it with his finances or whatever, and in control of players, transfers, all of that, they're not going to advance. Yeah.
Yeah, they signed a couple of good players, and I think again they plasters over painting over the cracks.
But you just look, since Pochettino, there's only one way they've been going, and it's backwards. They haven't improved.
Well, they even did under Poch at the end. It slowly towards the end of his tenure, didn't it? Yeah, it was really bad at the end of it. But one player I do like, though, sorry, I didn't mention him when we talked about midfield, Benteke. I think he's surprisingly okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of him at Spurs, but I liked what I saw at Juve in the Champions League and a few games in Serie A. Yeah. Same for Kulusevski. I think he's a really good pickup.
Yeah, Kulusevski's he started well, hasn't he? He's been getting goal contributions from the off. I just think he's the weirdest looking footballer.
Can't just judge people by goal contributions.
No, sorry, obviously not. But I'm saying it as well, though. But he has been chipping in.
You like to see it early on, don't you? He settled in well.
Yeah, something that Sancho didn't do, and it took him a while. Kulusevski's coming straight away. I just oh great! I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, they're not going to like this episode, are they? United
already? No, because I keep coming back to United. I just want them to just come back to a week ago when the whole club was in disarray, and everything after that City game, they were horrified. They were disgusted with the performance, and now. But yeah, we're not talking about Man United. Back to Tottenham. But yeah, Kulusevski's a really good player. Very odd player. He's not your typical winger, but I quite like it. He's him and Son, because obviously you got Son with the pace and the dribbling, whereas Kulusevski's direct and he drives at the ball. I wouldn't say he's the most.
He carries it well.
He's not fast, but you can't knock him off the ball.
Yeah, 'cause he's a big bloke.
He's a big bloke. He's just stocky for a winger, but I quite like it. He adds a different spark to that Tottenham attacks. I still think Lucas Moura was just never there. He had moments and flickers of brilliance, but he just didn't do it consistently enough. It was 4 or 5 games a season, so I think that front three now for Tottenham is perfect, really.
Yeah. Well,
it could arguably be up there with one of the best front threes in the league.
Kane and Son are world class, aren't they? Like, there's no arguing those two. I think any team in the Premier League would have them.
Yeah, and
Kulusevski's a nice supporting piece.
Yeah.
There's just the midfield is awful. The defence is ropey at best. Yeah,
I'd say it's up there with one of the best front threes in the league. Yeah, but then it's just, as we said, the rest of the team, and I think the defence as well.
Yeah,
and I'm still not convinced, and I get so much stick for this. Romero isn't good enough. I don't think he's good enough, and the reason why he worked in Serie A so well is because it's so slow and everything's in front of you. But at Tottenham, they're getting attacked so often, and balls going in behind, and he struggles. I've seen him so often get turned so easily, and he's so slow on the ball. But then everyone just says to me straight away, "Oh well, he was Serie A best defender last year." But he's struggling.
I haven't seen enough of him to comment properly, but all I see is people supporting him. And I think, is it just because he's young and he's come with a big price tag and a good reputation? But I haven't seen enough of him to comment, say, is he good, is he bad? But I haven't seen him have a standout game. I haven't look at it, that's like, stood out, he's a good defender.
I personally I haven't seen anything from him yet. I've seen him make a few good passes, but especially that Southampton game, I always go back to that game that I watched. He was one of the worst performers on that night. And then same again for the United game. They conceded 3. He can't be that good defensively if he's playing in a back 5 and conceding 3. He's got the back 3 tacks. He's got players around him, and they're still conceding so many goals. Yeah. And him and Eric Dyer just confuses me as a player. Every manager comes in and says, "Oh, I tried to sign Eric Dyer in the past," or "I really rate him. I'm going to build a team around him." And he just makes mistake after mistake after mistake.
He's like the Spurs Granit Xhaka, isn't he?
Yeah, I just don't get.
Will always find a way to get in the team.
Or the Spurs Jake Livermore.
He's not going. Oh, he's captain? No, Kane's captain.
Kane's captain, but he has. I'm pretty sure he probably voice, or something like that. Yeah, but no, a player that just baffles me that he gets in the side. I just don't. I don't know. Can you tell me what? Can you not pinpoint what it is? I kind of
get it, because if you're a manager, if I've gone in like completely blind to half the squad. You look at Dyer, he's been there a long time. He'll have a good relationship with Kane and all that. He's probably a bit of a leader. He knows the club like front to back. Yeah. So you probably would like stick with him for a bit of safety. But again, if they want to push on, he's probably not the manager.
Eric Dyer would not be the first name on the list if they're going to push on. Let's be honest.
Definitely not.
But then, again, they play Ben Davies as well in the back 3. That just shows you that the lack of.
I think we need to speak about the recruitment as well. Because the Spurs, a lot of teams have had bad recruitment, United, Everton, but the way Spurs have wasted money as well, it's awful. Like Emerson was a £35 million fullback who's now can't get in the team ahead of Matt Doherty.
And Matt Doherty, 15 million or 12.5 million, and he's not very good either.
Ben Davies, I don't think he was cheap. And then the centre half, so how much was Romero?
Romero was a big lump of money.
Davinson Sanchez was about 35 million. He just makes mistake after mistake.
Yeah.
Højbjerg wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
And then you've got the likes of Lo Celso.
So
Who's
yeah.
up 50 odd mil. Brian Gill, who's now out on loan in Valencia. I
Yeah,
think.
he's somebody again that really baffles me because they spent a lot of money.
Bergwijn, more. There's just no one's really come in and other than
Son, yeah.
Other than Son's come in and like cemented the place and gone. Like this is my spot.
Well, Jedson Fernandez that one time when he came in at that point, I think it was last season.
Yeah. Who's the other striker who gave you the years to?
Vinicius Junior, not Vinicius Junior. Sorry, it's
who is it against?
It's against Marine. Yeah, Marine. He was the old Benfica striker because they wanted like 75. Vinicius, yeah, because it wasn't Vinicius Junior. I don't know why I said Vinicius. I always get two mixed up, but he's just Vinicius. But yeah. Their recruitment is atrocious when you look back at the amount of money they've spent, and they've just never since they got rid of Bale. Yeah. Since that moment, they've never been able to sign anyone. Even Dele Alli, a player that you all thought was going to be great, he never did it.
Off.
Yeah, sorry. And another thing, could we just quickly discuss the Crystal Palace score just come through 0-0 full time.
Great result for Palace.
Palace is a great result for the top two.
Yeah, I told you. Liverpool putting the pressure on.
That is a huge result. Yes, even though when they're slipping up, they're still getting points, which is a good sign.
4-point lead for City, and Liverpool have got a game in hand, which is on Wednesday against Arsenal.
Which
is now a huge game.
It was anyway. For both sides anyway.
But Palace, Patrick Vieira doing wonders.
It's kind of gone really again inconsistent. Started off the season really well, and they kind of really dipped off. They went through a horrible run.
He came with a bit of a bad reputation in management.
At Nice, the fans despised him by the end. The run they went on because he took them on, didn't they? When they were like a Champions League kind of side, and then they became a mid-table team. That I always forget the striker they signed. Was it from Ajax? Was it Dolberg at top?
Yes. Yeah,
the players like himself, but. No, he came with a bad reputation. He's done all right, to be fair.
I think he's done very, very well.
Oh, yeah.
He's transformed that Palace side from what they were as well under Hodgson, just being like they were like a proper English Premier League mid-table side, hard to beat, like resolute, direct when you had Benteke and then just Zaha running off him. But now the football they're playing is really nice, playing out from the back. He's brought in some good young players.
Well, they had about 12 players leaving on a free, didn't they? At the end of the season, they got in an entirely new squad. When you look at the majority of the team is new.
The centre halves have gone from Tompkins and
what's his name? Oh, Scott Dan. No, it probably wasn't Scott Dan.
Now it's Gehi and
Anderson.
Anderson,
yeah.
Sorry.
Anderson, yeah. The two of them are great. Anderson is a great player though. I really like him. But no, big change for them. But no, and one player though I would like to discuss when it comes to Palace is Eberechi Eze. He's been
it's a bit odd.
He was injured and he's been fit again. He was on the bench again today. Something must be going on behind the scenes because he was such a good player.
Well, obviously the change of manager won't have helped him, especially when he was out injured. Because it was a bad injury as well. While Vieira's coming and implementing his ideas, he's literally on the medical table. So that's straight away gone against him, especially when Vieira's brought in Elise, who's hit the ground running, hasn't he? Looks a real talent.
I did a video on him last year when he was at Reading, and I said, watch out for him. He'd be a great player.
So, I think it's probably just a bit misfortunate for Eze, but then obviously he's not making his way into the team, so he might not be doing. I don't watch Crystal Palace training, but he might not be doing enough to impress. He might not be working hard.
Yeah, because he can play.
The manager wants him now.
He can play in the number 10 or on the left or on the right. And I know obviously they've got Elise and Zaha and Gallagher. So yeah, but I really would like to see him because he's a player that really excited me, especially when he was at QPR. And I love seeing players going from the Championship and making that step up into the Premier League and proving a point, which Elise has been doing himself. But that wasn't planned. But Palace, I do like them with what they're doing.
Patrick Vieira.
Of course, I just realised now why you're saying he's done well.
There's a pundit, I can't remember who it was. I saw this on Twitter.
Was it Gary Neville's?
No, I think it was Stan Collymore. It was either Stan Collymore or someone else. And they've said that basically Arsenal, if they want to get top 4, should sack Arteta and get Vieira in just because he played for the Invincibles, which is just absolutely ridiculous.
That is just ridiculous.
And this is like a professional pundit who's played the game. It's just makes you question who's.
It does, mate. Yeah, it does sometimes. But I saw.
Should get us there.
Yeah, that's where we're going. The only way's up. We will be there. You wait, guys. The next 5 years, we're going to be on Sky doing some punditry before. Or we'll have our own page. We'll be bigger than Sky by then. But no, we thought we've discussed Spurs. We've discussed everything. that's in the media and everything that's gone on this weekend, we decided off our own back we would do a kind of discussion together, a debate to make our top 5 in order, our top 5 creative playmakers, midfielders. Yeah. And this is quite an open-ended question. There could be so many players we could discuss and throw into the hat, and we thought that's what probably is a good topic, because we've seen loads of these players stepping up in recent weeks, the likes of De Bruyne, Fernandes, I can't believe I nearly went to Pogba, but then Odegaard. There's many players we could discuss, but we thought, okay then, let's try and do a top 5 together. But before we even go down to the top 5, just keep throwing names into the hat that we can think of at the moment, and just kind of discuss them.
Coutinho seems very on topic for all the Villa fans out there.
Wow, it pains me to see him doing so well. He was a player that I think we all knew deep down, if he could even find a slightest bit of that form he had at Liverpool back in the day, we knew he'd be a great player. He really suits the way that the Premier League is, the fast pace. He really suits that league, and that's why I do believe he struggled in Spain. Whereas now he can take the ball and he can drive with it, and he's looking so good at that Villa side. Yes, they're very inconsistent, but he's a player that, it pains me to say, I do enjoy watching him. Really do enjoy watching him.
I've also been impressed, and I had my doubts over whether he could come and do it at that level again, at the tempo and the speed of the Premier League and all that. But I just want to put the brakes on a little bit. I know this might surprise a few people because his performances have been really good. But if you look at who they've come against at this point in the season, I don't think we should read into them too much. So I've just they've played a Leeds team who sacked the manager the day after and he ran the show. A Brighton team that's been very out of sorts since
Dan Burn.
January.
No, since Dan Burn. Yeah. That's what we're going to keep going back to. Dan Burn is the thing that made Brighton good.
And the Southampton game was just, it looked like a bit of an anomaly.
I know.
I think that's right. But then
against
Southampton, lost again the weekend. They're just one of these teams that can never. They went on a little run and then they'll probably go on a big losing run now.
Yeah, and then they'll go back to.
So I just think his performances have been really good, and obviously they've lifted Villa when they needed it. But I just think it's come against a lesser opposition, and you kind of expect a player of Coutinho's calibre to do that.
But then you look at the game against Man United when he first came in. He did change that game against United. Yeah, was that in the cup game?
He has uplifted the spirits, and he's got people playing better around him.
Well, he's making Jacob Ramsey like Iniesta. No, I'm joking. I'm just saying it. But he's helped players like him.
I also think Jacob Ramsey needs a shout out and some credit, because his game this year is really improved.
Massively improved,
like really promising centre mid.
Well, I think before Gerrard came in, I think he'd played 2 Premier League games, got 2 Premier League full of starts before Gerrard or something like that. And right now he's the first name on the team sheet at the moment with the way he's playing. He's absolutely amazing. The way he drives with the ball and moves the ball around, he's just no pressure. He's so calm on the ball. It's amazing.
Quick and strong as well, isn't he? He covers the ground really well.
He seems to be bulking every game I watch him again. He just looks that little bit stronger, but I don't know if that's because he feels like he deserves to be on that pitch now, and you can see him puffing his chest out. But yeah, he's a great player. But I do get what you're saying with Coutinho, but I still really like him.
Yeah, no, I like him as a player.
I'm just so exciting to watch what he does with the ball.
He's like electric, isn't he? Like, you just expect something to happen when he gets the ball at his feet.
Even as a West Brom fan, I'm sat watching him, and I try and forget that he's the Villa, and I get on the edge of my seat because he does excite me watching him play. And I'm hoping no Villa fan that I know is listening to this, because I know they will be loving the fact that I'm saying this. But okay, then somebody like a James Maddison, a player that I think it's really difficult for him in the sense of he's come at a time, he's excelling in his position where there's so many other young English creative midfielders, whether they play on the wing or in the number 10, and he will always be in their shadows. But he's a guy I think deserves a shout out, but I don't think he would make the top 5.
No.
He doesn't do it consistently enough, and he's injury prone. But again, he's somebody that I do like, the fact that he came from the Championship as well.
Yeah, no,
I do like him.
I was quite excited when we were linked with him in the summer, but then for the price tag Leicester were, obviously we don't know how true these rumours were, but 70-odd million just seemed a bit ridiculous. And I like Maddison,
but yeah, no, he's definitely not worth that much.
He's almost like, he's not probably as creative between the lines as other people, but he's like a direct passer, isn't it? Like, but his delivery is fantastic.
Oh yeah, he's from set pieces as well. He's great, isn't he?
Yeah.
The way he whips the ball, it is brilliant. And again, if we didn't have the players like Trent, I think we'd talk more about his delivery, and players like James Ward-Prowse, another one we can quickly move on to. I feel like it feels mental to say that he deserves.
This has been a big season for James Ward-Prowse.
But then he has been now for a few seasons.
He's been very consistent for a long time.
And he's everything that's good that comes from Southampton. Majority of the time, it comes through him. He leads the team, and he's again set pieces. Great.
He's like it is Beckham-esque. It is like on par with that. The way he whips the ball.
Well, there's so much power as well behind it, but it's so accurate. I love it. Watching his free again. I try and tell people not to watch players' compilations, but just go onto YouTube and watch his free kick.
Away thinking any player is the best in the world.
But if you watch James Ward-Prowse's free kicks compilation, it's ridiculous. Even his corners, they're great to watch.
If you get a set piece other than a throw in the opposition's half, it's a goal threat because his delivery is that good.
Exactly, yeah. No, he's a great player. Can you think of any others that deserve a mention before we get into the top 5 that you don't believe could make that top 5, or do you want to go straight into the top 5? How on earth you can even say that? Few. And don't even say Donny van der Beek either, because the two of them, I think I will stand by my comments and say the most ridiculous, insane signings Everton could have ever made. I said it on deadline day and everyone took the mick out of me. Dele Alli hasn't shown it for years. Donny van der Beek.
I understand Van der Beek a bit because there's promise and there's a bit of quality there.
But they don't need promise. They need results. They need Jack Cork. We keep saying it every week, and I'll keep saying it. They need Jack Cork. No, I can't believe I'm saying that. Yeah. Oh, I can't keep that. There could be other midfielders like John Joe Shelvey. Yeah. Right now, the form he's showing. Sorry, back to the creative midfielders.
Yeah.
Willock. Joe Linton? Oh no, the Newcastle were unlucky by the way this weekend, but just putting out there because they could have kept on that run.
Let's just go on that game for a bit. Did you watch it?
Yes.
I
watch? I watched it with you. I don't know why. We watched it together. I don't know why you said it like that.
Obviously, let's get your Havertz gloating out of the way.
Havertz.
Shout out our mate Jay.
Havertz is amazing, and I will go back to my comments.
Great touch.
He is still, and I still believe this, will one day be on Ballon d'Or level. You saw the way he brought down that ball and put it in the box. He's showing the promise that we all expected from him. The level, I've literally recorded a video on him earlier that I put on my YouTube channel talking about how good this guy is in the false nine right now. Is there a better false nine in the Premier League? No. Because he's so good, and the thing I love about him now is his tenacity. He's starting to turn into he's got a bit of a nasty side to him. You've seen him; he leads into players, he's winding players up. You saw him against Trent in the League Cup final, and then he's throwing elbows against Dan Burn. Yes, he should have been sent off for that, in my opinion. I still can't. Well, no, I think it's a really difficult one.
It is a tough one because
it could see it going either way.
Like eyes are locked on the ball. It's obviously dangerous. But they are both literally on the whole way. They're looking at the ball, so that's when it gets a bit difficult. What's not difficult
is the
penalty decision, which is we're talking. Here we are again, another week, another terrible VAR decision or non-decision.
Yeah,
against a big team
every single week. It's ridiculous, and we discussed it because a lot of people talk about this bias to the big teams when it comes to VAR. But I think you made a great point when we were sat at the pub. It's all down to the pressure that making a decision at Stamford Bridge with all those fans knowing about how much it affects the top 4 and everything that goes on outside of football with all the money and things. The referees can feel that pressure going into the games.
Not the refs. The refs are not the ones at fault here.
No, but the refs are also in VAR. Those are the people that are making the decisions, and they know it's still
on the pitch.
Yeah, but the refs as a whole.
I feel sorry for the refs on the pitch because once you've made your decision. There might be certain circumstances where you can't see it easily. You've just glanced away. Someone's blocking your view. All of that.
Yeah.
But if you're in that booth, you've got to replay. How you can get these decisions wrong week after week is amazing.
But I think it adds to the pressure though, because when it goes to the monitor, when it goes upstairs, I think the referees, because they've got so many angles a lot of the time.
I don't think they should go to the monitor. They should just be told if it's a penalty or not.
When I say go to the monitor upstairs. When they go to the referees in the VAR room, I think because everyone's waiting and they know they've got potentially the big clubs 50 or 60,000 people waiting on this every move. They know there's millions of people watching at home and they have to get the decision. And I think that they can't deal with the pressure. I don't know what needs to be done and how they can sort it because it's the same problems every single week. And
at this point, I don't think there is anything that can be done other than improve the quality of referees.
But that even then, how can you do that? No one wants to be a ref in the UK anyway. They've talked about it since COVID
struggling
at grassroots level. So there's never going to be the improvement and it all goes back to the respect towards referees. And I know we've all been there, Sunday League, and you give abuse to refs, but from a young age, no one is taught. You go to and I don't know how I've got into this, but you go to under 6 level football and you have parents shouting at referees. No one grows up now and wants to be a referee, because why would you, as a 10-year-old, start doing your badges? Sorry, you're probably a bit older than that, 10, 12-year-old, do your badges when you know you're going to get stick from there, and then we wonder why we don't have referees moving on the subject.
We are going off on one a bit here, but that's one issue is the stick they get. But I've done my referees course. I refed for probably 4 or 5 years at a Sunday League level, and one of our mates, Jim, shout out Jim, went to a high level. He was doing like Saturday League football and travelling all over the country. What I will say, the FA makes it so hard, whether it be the county FA or national, they make it so hard to progress. Why are they not making it easier for referees, young promising refs,
to encourage them,
to help them go? But they make it difficult. They like scrutinise you, and like you have to do assessments with like people watching you. But I don't know how we've got here, but
no, I think that is the big issue, and I think it comes back to that in the long term, because we're not going to get the new crop of referees are the same as the ones before.
Look at the way our national team struggled, and then all of a sudden there was a game plan. Like we followed Spain and Germany's game plan, didn't we, to improve the youth setup from like under 6s all through to under 21s, national coach, the level of coaching, all that. Same thing needs to be done with refs.
Yeah.
Because we've spoken again before, we have the best league in the world, the most watched league in the world, the highest earning league in the world. So we need the best referees to keep that level. Yeah.
It's as simple as that, and it's upsetting though at points now, because I'm not even getting annoyed anymore. It does just make me sad, because I see some decisions, and I know this is ridiculous when you say you've fallen out of love with football, but there are some decisions which it just bothers me so much, and it's not even my own club. I came out of that Newcastle game, and I was in a mood for a good half an hour, and it wasn't even my club, because I just felt so.
Kai Havertz's goal.
Yeah, even with Kai Havertz's goal, because at the end of the day, it's something out of their control that has done them over. Yes, obviously Chelsea still scored, but the game would have been so different, and that's huge for Newcastle. Obviously, I say a club like Newcastle, they're massive now with the investment things, but they are still in a relegate. They're in
to go 1-0 up away at Chelsea would have been massive.
It would have been huge. But it's just, we can keep talk. We could talk about refereeing every single week. Top five. Now we're going back to top 5. I can't believe how we've just digressed to under 6 referees, but you know what we're trying to say. It is a massive problem in the UK. But anyway, the top 5. Is there anyone that you want to? I feel like we can do the number 1 together straight away.
Number 1.
De Bruyne.
Yeah, no questions asked.
I was looking at you then. I was pretty sure that you were going to say that, but then, De Bruyne. We all know what he can do. Let's be honest. And what annoys me the most, and we talk about goal contributions, this season he hasn't hit the goal contributions he usually does, but because he's doing a different role, he hasn't got a number 9 to whip those balls in like he did before.
Then he's still scoring. He's
still doing great, but he's not putting up the ridiculous numbers that he was before. But you can see with the eye test, he's so good, so clear of any other playmaker in the division.
He's out on his own at number 1.
And I find it really disrespectful when anyone compares Fernandes and De Bruyne. I find that disrespectful to De Bruyne, because De Bruyne is so good. He's so clear. What he can do with the ball, and it's his strength. And defensively, he's quite a good midfielder as well.
I don't think he has weaknesses, really. Like, possibly defensively, but that's not his game. But if you look at everything else, obviously his passing, unbelievable. Yeah. The vision he has with those deep line passes where he whips it either around the centre half or around the full-back. I can't think of anyone else that does that.
Yeah, he's both-footed. He scores absolute screamers with his left foot.
Goal threat from near enough anywhere. Yeah, he's
number 1, locked in.
Probably one of the best in the world.
Yeah,
if not the best.
Yeah, potentially. That could be another debate for another video. But then number 2. I think this is now where we're going to start. Well, I feel like we'll have similar personnel, but then we might disagree. Who would you go in as number 2?
I forgot who I was going to say.
But you can, there are plenty.
I might change this, but I'm going to go Bernardo Silva at number 2.
Okay, he was my number 3. I was going to go number 2, Odegaard. I knew you'd like that. I didn't, and this is not even trying to suck up to you here. I have been watching a lot of Odegaard, and I've been getting really excited.
He's in my 5, but I just thought I won't big him up too much because I'll just get stick.
Well, I will take the stick on your behalf. I would like to lock in Odegaard as the second best playmaker in the division, and I think we've seen he's so casual again, and it's his close control, how the ball sticks to his feet at points, and it's the little things, the little 5-yard 1-2s that he does.
It doesn't matter how the ball comes into him anywhere on his body, he's killing it dead and into his path, into his stride. It's like so elegant, isn't he? He just glides across the pitch.
And I think, and I'm not trying to, it's not even recency, because obviously he was great against Leicester. Specifically that Leicester game, he was absolutely class. But I've been saying it for weeks now. I've been trying to watch him closely because I absolutely love watching him play.
Yeah, if you like, I've been to Arsenal a few times this season. Looking at him like with the whole pitch in front of you, if you're at a high level or something, like the way he goes side to side and just keeps the, like, you'll see like everyone else is kind of almost they're moving around but they're sticking to their positions, and he will just go with the plays, like the flow. He's literally like controlling the tempo of the game.
Everything comes through him
side to side, and then all of a sudden he'll do a reverse pass to switch it back quickly.
Yeah. And little flicks and everything. I absolutely love him. I think Bernardo Silva has to go number 3 then, though.
Yeah,
for definite. I think, and I know obviously we'll probably get a lot of stick for putting Bernardo Silva number 3, but I think
that's very similar. I love Ødegaard. Having him at number 2, he's had.
I know I'm getting excited.
Is it diplomatic? Is that the word?
Well, you know what you're playing a devil's advocate here, but I can see why Bernardo Silva could easily have an argument for that. But I think recently he has dropped a bit deeper, and I don't think we've seen.
I think that's just credit to him. He can do that harder working role as well. But we saw at the start of the season when De Bruyne was out, he was the one getting the goals. He was the one breaking into the box late, doing all that, like that final bit in that final third for City, which De Bruyne normally does. But when he was out, it was Gundogan last year, and then this year Bernardo Silva stepped up.
Yeah,
he can play on the wing as well. He can literally play like holding midfielder, either wing.
Well, yeah, when he played at Monaco, he literally played in everywhere in that midfield, didn't he? He was
unbelievable player.
Yeah, I do really like him. I think he's I like
him. A pair
him.
of left foots, that is, as well. Ødegaard,
the two of them, yeah.
Silva.
I think it helps when you're left-footed as well, though. That you do.
It just looks a bit better, doesn't it?
I feel ridiculous saying it, but it surely is a thing. Is it just me? I think it's because it's.
There was another one.
Yeah.
There
are many players.
Better, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's because it's slightly more unorthodox. It's not the norm. So when you see somebody do it, Chris Brunt, another one. Sorry, we're talking about great left-footers. We've gone Ødegaard, Ozil,
he's got some
Chris Brunt
assists in the Premier League.
I tell you now, if you look back at the last 10 years, most assists, Chris Brunt enters that list. I tell you now.
What a player!
What a boy! Talking about great crosser, best crosser I've ever seen. Easily. You can't really argue because you can't tell me I'm wrong. But
no, I don't know who you've seen.
I've seen some greats, but Brunt is by far the best. Okay. Okay, then the number 4 and number 5 position. We've spoken about some players. Could a Coutinho potentially enter this list, or are there any others you'd like to see there? Fernandes obviously has got to.
I think we've got to put Bruno 4th, and neither of us like him. In fact, I openly despise him.
Despise a really strong word. You dislike him?
I dislike him, yeah.
I was going to say despise.
But
you can't argue with what he does.
No, because he's so direct and he will get, like, goal scoring. He's fantastic from midfield. What I just think, compared to those other 3, I don't think he's got, like, the technical quality. Yes, he's got a good delivery and he's a goal threat. But, like, the amount of passes he hits, and then they might not hit the target. Whereas those other 3, I don't feel like they're ever going to misplace a pass.
But I think the difference is with those, when you compare the two, you see De Bruyne and you see Ødegaard, and you see Bernardo playing these short little passes, these 1-2 things. Bruno gets the ball, and he's looking to put through the striker.
But he's always been like that.
He's looking for that killer pass, isn't he? Yeah.
He'll pick the ball up in his own half, and he's instantly looking up like this 70 yards. And like sometimes he's got the quality, just keep it tidy.
Yeah.
But like I said, in and around the box, he's dynamite, isn't he?
But I do also think it doesn't help that he's at United in a system where where you look at Ødegaard and players like that, he's got technical players that can pass it to Partey, or De Bruyne can pass it to Bernardo Silva.
Yeah.
You get a player like Bruno, he turns, he's got Scott McTominay next to him.
Pogba and...
Yeah, but Pogba's not always there. He's got Scott McTominay and Fred. So how can he really? Obviously, Fred is no way making this top 5. By the way, just putting it out there. I thought
I'm going to put 5th.
5th, I personally,
Any more on Bruno? Do you want to slander him a bit? Or?
No, I like his tenacity and in some sense. I know he winds up a lot of people, but I quite like that in a player.
What I don't like is the the moaning on the pitch. Like, tenacity, yes, fine, if you're sharp into challenges and stuff like that. I don't like the moaning in the body language, which a lot of the time, like, he'll just pick a fight with either an opposition player
or his own player as well.
Or his own player for no reason, really, other than the fact that he might have gave the ball away. Granted, there might not be the options there, but I don't like that. Like, it's like petulant. You just see him throw his hands up and turn away, and I'm not a fan.
Yeah, but then again, I think this goes back to the whole demeanour at United. I think it's just a very toxic, and it just comes. We keep going back to it, but it simply just is that. But okay, then Bruno, and then the fifth one, I'd probably go Coutinho personally, or it could be a Mount maybe.
Yeah,
Coutinho or Mount. That is a good debate, actually.
I think I'll probably edge
Foden?
Mason. Are we classing Foden?
This is the difficult point, but I think we're going to keep Foden as a false nine then.
Yeah, because this season he's been false nine and winger.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Mount.
Mount or Coutinho.
I do think...
I still struggle with Mount, and I've said it before, it's the conviction.
I don't know. He's like... I think you were a bit harsh on him when you said previously his final product's not good. That was just a bit of a reaction to the League Cup
But then
final.
I know he's put up great goal contributions, but I watched them a lot, and I still don't think he has that cutting edge where he's going to be on the level of the rest of these players that we're discussing. I don't think he's near these top four that we've already mentioned. I don't think he's on Bruno's level, and I don't think he personally is on the level of Coutinho. Personally, I think Coutinho, if we man for man, then Coutinho or Grealish. Sorry, Coutinho or Mount. I didn't mean to say Grealish obviously isn't in this list because he's more of a winger, but Coutinho or Mount. I think man for man, if you compare the two, I think everything that Mount's good at, I think Coutinho does better. And he adds that little bit extra, that extra little bit of sauce.
Yeah, you can have Coutinho.
The flicks and everything that goes with it, and the goals. He only scores screamers, Coutinho, let's be honest. He only scores great goals. I say that he hasn't scored great goals this season, but that's it is really. But the nostalgia with it. But I am a huge fan of Coutinho, and I think it helps that I've grown up watching him, and he's a player that I've been obsessed with for many years. So it's a bit of dust then, or is that a fly? Oh, it's a moth. Something just. I keep trying to not look at it. I keep catching me in the corner of my eye, but yeah.
You're fighting the urge, just like clap.
Be great for audio listeners, but no. Do you know what then? We can leave it up for debate then. We can ask the Bucketeers, the people out there. You want Mount? I want. Okay then, Mount or Coutinho? Who you said Mount earlier? Are you changing your mind? You don't really. Okay, then
Emil Smith Rowe.
He's a winger. You could cast him as a winger, surely.
Yeah.
I don't know. You tell me.
He's been playing on the wing, but I think his future will lie as a...
Well, he can't get in the starting 11, so...
No, he can't.
He's nowhere near.
He's been injured, to be
fair. No. But there you go. We're going to lock in that top five then.
Yeah.
I think we can safely say that. Number 1, De Bruyne. Number 2, Odegaard. Number 3... Bernardo Silva, number 4, Bruno Fernandes, and number 5, Philippe Coutinho. I think that's pretty good. Let me know, guys, in the comment section on whatever platform. There's going to be a lot
of people that disagree with that.
Let us know in the comments anyone you believe should make that as advanced playmakers and advanced creative midfielders. Not wingers, creative midfielders.
Not cams for all you FIFA.
Yeah, we're not playing FIFA. We're talking about... I don't mind people calling them the number 10s, maybe. I don't mind that. But I don't like this cam thing, so I made sure I didn't say central attacking midfielders because we're not playing FIFA.
No, we're not.
And let us know, guys, in the comment section below, any ideas you want us to do. We can do debates, top fives, because we'll be having another guest on hopefully next week, so we'll be having some more debates and things. But let us know, guys, what you want to hear, because we do read the comments, and we are looking forward to it. But, Mike, I think that's everything we need to say.
Yeah, good work, mate.
I think it's a good episode. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening to episode 12 of the BucketHatSam Talks Ball podcast. Leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening, or if you're watching us on YouTube, smash the like button and subscribe, and check out Box to Box shirts, Mike's football shirt company. I forgot to plug it last week.
Disgraceful.
I know, it's out of order. So this week, I will put the link down twice in the description. Not that makes a difference, but it'll be there twice. Go check him out. Go follow him on Instagram. He deserves it. Come on. He's agreed that Coutinho is better than Mount, so he deserves it, surely. You're going to get loads of hate now of Chelsea fans. But no, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next week. BucketHatSam, over and out, baby.